Let me start with this. When Tomlin had a Hall of Fame quarterback, all he did was win. He and Ben Roethlisberger won 136 games together. In the history of the NFL, only Brady and Belichick won more. Now, I can already hear you. Rodgers isn't that player anymore. Okay, fine. Tomlin is 47, 37, and 1 without Ben. That is an average of 10 and 7 per year with Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, Mitch Trubisky, Devlin Duck Hodges, Charlie Batch, Justin Fields, Landry Jones, Mike Vick, Dennis Dixon, and Byron Leftwich at quarterback. You tell me, which of those guys Rodgers is not going to outplay? Mike Tomlin always overachieves. That's not an opinion, people. It's a fact. The Steelers have gone over their win total in each of their last 5 seasons, and they do it by winning close games. In those 5 seasons, Tomlin has won 65% of his games decided by 6 points or fewer. Rodgers and the Jets were 0-7 in those games last year. He is the perfect coach for what Aaron can still be. And here's one more thing. In Pittsburgh's 3 seasons post-Big Ben, they're 17-2 in games without a turnover. I'll give you one guess. Which quarterback has the lowest interception rate in NFL history? That's right. It's Rodgers. So in closing, let me simply say I have seen this movie before. In 2009, after playing for the Jets and being left for dead, a 40-year-old Brett Favre went to Minnesota, went 12-4, and made the NFC title game. So are you telling me that history can't repeat itself? I would say don't bet against it. That's what I think is going to happen in Pittsburgh this year. Yes. I'll just say it for you.
You cooked.
That was fire. So Brooke Pryor is there with them every single day. I want to dive into what you have seen in the relationship so far, but let's start with that. I'm sitting here telling you, Damian Woody, the Steelers are the steal of the season. They're not going to be good. They're going to be way better than people are expecting. You buy it?
Yes. I'm starting to really buy it right now because, you know, Greeny, we're both Jet fans, and we saw Aaron Rodgers, who was hurt last year. When Aaron Rodgers came back, Aaron Rodgers played a lot better. And I think the point that you brought up, and I think it's a good point, the one thing that Aaron Rodgers does very well is take care of the football. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the way the Pittsburgh Steelers played last year, particularly at the quarterback position, the reason why their defense got worn down, because they didn't get anything out of the quarterback. That's not going to be the case this year. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, and he doesn't have to worry about carrying a franchise like he did with the Jets, they are going to be a lot better than people realize.
The stat that sold me on this, Hembo and I work on these together, the stat that sold me was that Rodgers and the Jets were 0-7 in games decided by 6 points or fewer last year. That's coaching. Coaching is what wins you these games around the margins. You just need to be better at that. Mike Tomlin is, to compare Mike Tomlin to what the Jets had in coaching last year, it would be unfair to both sides of them. So it's ridiculous. It's not even worth talking about. He's going to be just this much better, and Tomlin is that much better. This team's going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, I've been high on the Steelers' projection going into this, but I feel like someone has to offer a little sober analysis of the Aaron Rodgers that they're getting.
Yes.
His last 2 full seasons, he wasn't the no interception throwing Aaron Rodgers. He threw double-digit picks in both of his last 2 full seasons, one with the Packers and one with the Jets. And I think that I believe in this situation, not because I think Aaron Rodgers can be the greatest version of himself. It's because, to what D. Wood said, we saw that he still has the ability to make those throws. They're not going to ask him to make a lot of those throws. They're going to rely a lot more on their defense and hope that in those tight situations, the combination of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin will help them prevail.
All right, so now let's go to our sort of eyes on the ground, if you will. Brooke, you've been there from day one. What have you observed from Rodgers, and in particular from Rodgers and Tomlin?
I've observed a love fest. I have not had them take a love languages quiz. But if I were, I can almost guarantee you their love languages would be the same. It's words of affirmation and it's quality time. What have we heard that Mike Tomlin sold Aaron Rodgers on? It's every time they talked, I'm not talking to you as a coach, I'm talking to you as a friend. Let's spend some time together, let's bond. Tell me about your inner circle. You mentioned a name one time, I'm going to bring it up next time and ask how that person is doing. What's Aaron Rodgers done since he got to Pittsburgh? He has done that with every single player on the roster. And I mean guys from Julius Welschoff, who is a German outside linebacker that he calls his German friend, to
creative.
Evan Hull. Yeah, very descriptive. That's how he remembers. It's an association. And then Evan Hull, a UDFA running back who he met one time, met his wife and his kid. They stretched together at training camp because that's how he's getting to know these guys, is in the stretch lines. He's not out in front. He's in the back. He's mixing it up. He's trying to get to know people. The way that I look at it and the way that this works and what was missing in New York is that Aaron Rodgers is going into a situation where the culture is set, where the orchestra is assembled. He's not coming in to stage a coup and dethrone the conductor. He's coming in to play like second chair saxophone. Maybe there's a knife in the sax that if things go poorly, then he's going to take over like mid-concert, like stay on your toes. There's no metal detector for the band entrance. But it seems like he is acclimating to the culture that is already set because of Mike Tomlin, because they understand each other, and because they just respect each other in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I think those relationships certainly help and matter, and I think it's one of those things that it's impossible to measure, but when things get hot, having a relationship with somebody, it matters. But I do think that everybody feels good in the honeymoon stage.
Right.
Like, I remember when he first got to the Jets, I was all up. We all thought we had a party at your house, Greedy, because we thought the season was going to be great. We had the same feeling before last season with the Jets. So all those things will change when things get hot. So we'll find out when they test it.
Understood. But the difference this time, and that was one of the most important points I was trying to make, is there's someone standing in the way of it. Once things started going bad last year, it snowballed. The owner got involved much too early. The coaching was a catastrophe. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and still 0-7 in 6-point games is an anomaly. If they win half of those games, the Jets are in the playoff chase as bad as they were. This team is way better than that, and they've got Mike Tomlin, who was like the human roadblock to skids, right? Like, I'm going to lose 4 games in a row. No, we're not. Mike Tomlin's not going to allow that to happen, and he won't allow it to go off the rails. I really think this has a chance to be way better. Why are you looking at me like that?
It did go off the rails at the end of last season. They did lose 4 in a row.
Because the quarterback play was so bad. Watching them play, it looked like they gave up offensively.
It did, and I think that will help. But Mike Tomlin, he can stop a lot of stuff, but you're right. It does take 2 in this case.
I mean, I feel like I'm the one that is positioned as like the non-believer in this situation when I'm not, but also like someone has to be realistic about these expectations, because you are hearkening back to like championship level teams like every year is considered. This is a different NFL and this is a different AFC.
If you had said, I mean, I remember this, you were on the team.
Yes, I was.
When Brett Favre left the Jets and he retired, and then they drafted Sanchez and he forced their hand, he came back and he got to be a free agent, went to Minnesota. Did we expect him to go 12-4? Did we think that? Did he look like a guy who was ready to have a bounce back season and be what I thought he was that year, which was the MVP of the league?
No.
He didn't look like that.
But Greeny, I think the problem is the expectations are so much higher in Pittsburgh. Like, we're not making the playoffs won't be a success for them. They're going to have to win a couple playoff games.
Right.
And you know who they're going to have to beat in the playoffs? They're going to beat teams that have quarterbacks that are going to do more than just come up big every now and then. They're going to have to beat the likes of Mahomes, Allen's, Jackson, those type of guys. And I think that's where I think I'm tempering expectations. Will they be a successful team? Yeah. Will they make the playoffs? Probably. Will they win a playoff game? That's all anyone in Pittsburgh cares about. That's where I get nervous.
Aaron Rodgers is still standing when the season ended. If he's healthy, I will tell you right now, they will win a playoff game this year. All right, it's time for a segment we call What Does D. Fox Say? Here we go, Neek. Let's start with this. If I say Travis Hunter should only